Ooh. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another Rokoko office hours. Sorry, we're starting a little bit late again. We just got stuff going on, so we had to push it back. Normally we try to start at 11 a.m. PST, but I am Sam Lazarus, creative director for Rokoko. And if you've never been to one of these office hours before, this is just a time when we're live. We're going to play around. We're going to make some motion capture. We haven't actually been really making mocap recently, but we're going to change that today. We're making motion capture. We're going to do a little samurai scene. And what's going on, Edward? And we are going to keep playing around with Unreal Engine 5.4. I swear we're going to get out of Unreal at some point, but 5.4, the new preview version of Unreal was just released a few weeks ago, and it's got some new exciting workflow stuff. So I thought, all the Shogun, the new show Shogun, which is based on a great book, is out, and samurais are all over my Instagram feed. So I thought we'd do a little Instagram video, our little samurai scene. So yeah, we're just gonna get into it today. We're not even gonna preamble. We're not gonna do anything. The only thing that I will mention is that in the next couple of weeks, hey, what's going on, machine? We will be doing a free webinar, which we try to do every couple months. You can find out more on, if you follow Rokoko on Instagram or on our website, and I'll talk about it next week too. But during those webinars, it's going to be a webinar focused on Unreal 5.4. We're going to be using the Coil Pro. We're going to be going through all the new workflows. I'm kind of trying to figure out the best workflows right now. Unreal 5.4 is in previews right now, so things will continue to change. But also during the webinars, we have a raffle. We have discounts for gear. If you're thinking about getting Rokoko gear, it's a good place to snag a 10 or 15% discount. And they're just a lot of fun. We have a live chat, and it's a blast. Hot sauce, what's going on? Yes, I have. It should work, and we can get into that. But the thing to know, Hot Sauce is asking, have you tried to use the IK-FK switch for MetaHuman? And I think what you're talking about, machine, is for the control rig for MetaHuman in Unreal Engine. If you're using it with an additive layer, the key thing about it is that once you bake to your MetaHuman control rig, it bakes. So the MetaHuman control rig, it has, if you go into global, it has a drop down and you can check IK-FK switch. And once you bake it keyframes on every frame for that switch key. So you just have to delete all the keyframes from your baked control rig clip. Let me know if that makes sense. Is the MetaHuman 5.4 IK-FK switching snap to pose broken? I don't think so, but we can take a look in a little bit. If you stick around, we'll load in a MetaHuman into Unreal and give it a go. But I don't think so. It's normally that it might be that it's keyed, because when you bake to control rig, when animating, okay, I'm just reading, Hot Sauce, when animating the MetaHuman IK-FK switch in 5.4 sequencer, my MetaHuman arms pop when switching. Is there a snap to pose feature? So you're doing a dynamic. You're switching it during the animation. You're switching from IK to FK. Is that what you're doing? Because if you're doing that, I don't know. But you might have problems. I'm not sure. I don't think that helps you very much, my not knowing. But I normally don't switch. Which isn't, good. You should be able to probably switch, but I don't think I've ever tried that. Like keying it on. I usually just use IK or FK for the entire sequence. And there shouldn't be any issues with that. But it's 5.4. I don't know if I've tried it in 5.4 yet. 5.4 is so new still. But we'll try it. We'll load in a MetaHuman. But before we do that, we have not made motion capture on this stream in a little while, and I want to make some motion capture. I want to actually hop into a suit, so that's what we're going to do first. Without a delay, Yeah, sure, hot sauce. We'll do that as soon as we hop into Unreal. So we're just gonna do some quick motion capture and then we'll hop into Unreal. Okay. I'm gonna adjust. Let's adjust my camera here so we can actually make some mocap. My pleasure, hot sauce. That's why we're here. Answering questions, getting lost in, down rabbit holes. And let me know if the audio is funky in any way, and I'll adjust it. I like having a little music in the old background, but it might be too loud or too soft. Okay, so we're gonna do, soup to nuts, hop in a mocap suit and make some motion capture, make some samurai motion capture. And I like to do this starting from not being in my suit, so you can see the whole process, right? That's one of the nice things about Rokoko, is it'll be very quick for us to get up and running. Audio is good, sweet. Thank you, hot sauce. I appreciate it. I never know. But yeah, let's, we're jumping in a suit. So this is the Rokoko Smart Suit Pro 2. We're not gonna do any facial motion capture today, but we have, you can see my facial motion capture rig up there. My head rig, Rokoko head rig. But we're just gonna be using the suit and our smart gloves, because our samurai is gonna have his face covered. So it doesn't really, we don't need any facial motion capture. But suit on, just takes a couple seconds, takes like a minute to get up and get running. Pull my straps up here, zip up. Joop. Take off the old beanie, put on my head strap. I like to wear the beanie because I just don't think that having a headband is I'm vain. I want to look cool. Beanie helps me hide that head strap a little bit. That's the only reason I put it on. And then I'm rolling up my sleeves because we're going to be using our smart gloves too. So the smart gloves just work directly, natively with my suit. They plug directly into the suit here by USB-C. And if you don't know how Rokoko works, it all works off of Wi-Fi. So, I happen to be close to my Wi-Fi router. We do recommend that you use an offline router if you're having any issues with Wi-Fi. Because everything works off of Wi-Fi, you need a strong Wi-Fi network. Otherwise, your motion capture will have lag and it will suffer. But, suit on, gloves on, plug in my generic battery pack. Everything runs off a generic battery pack that I can hot swap in and out. And then if the streaming gods decide not to screw me, we should just kind of pop up in our scene right here. I got green lights on my gloves. That's always a good sign. And we will wait to pop up. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I feel like my suit has been not wanting to just pop up into my scene, but it should. I might just need to repower my suit or quit out of studio. So let's do a repower. Let's check to make sure we're on the right Wi-Fi network. Yeah. It'll work. It's always the streaming gods just decide to make me look like an idiot whenever I stream. Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's like, hello. There we go. Buy the whole dress. Can I just buy the dress and don't buy the gloves? You can absolutely just get the suit. You don't need the gloves. The suit comes in a non-glove version, which actually could be converted into a glove version later if you decided later that you wanted to get the gloves. And if you don't have the gloves, basically the hands are they don't move. You still get wrist movement with the non-glove version. So your wrists will still move. You just won't get finger motion capture. And again, you don't need it. there's a lot of things you don't need finger motion capture for. I will say, once you start using finger motion capture, it adds so much to your mocap. But you can animate that yourself, and no, you totally don't need to get it with the gloves. And as I said at the beginning, Edward, we're hosting a webinar later this month. I think it's on the 18th, and I don't know if we've put out the announcement yet, but we will in the next day or so, or by Monday if we haven't. And we do raffles during those webinars, so you might win a suit, but also we do discounts usually. So you want to knock like 10% off, come to the webinar and get that code, and then it's a nice time to buy because you can knock some dollars off. So yeah, come to the webinar if you want to, and maybe that'll make it so that you can get the gloves. I also saw somebody on Reddit. If you go to Reddit and you're in the United States, I saw somebody was selling their suit and gloves for a pretty low price. So you can always check Reddit. Maybe there's somebody who's reselling a used suit. Oh my gosh, rain is coming. It would be nice to win a suit. Hey, every time people win suits, we give away gloves, we give away head rigs, we give away stuff every single time. So yeah. Okay, so for this samurai scene, what's been a shot that's been running through my head is just like a shot from behind a samurai kind of like limping to a door. Like an interior, like backlit shot of a samurai. But we'll do a couple things. Let's record some stuff. And I've got my extendable samurai sword here, which is useful for all this. Of course, it's always good to use props. And yeah, let's just record. We're not. That's enough talking, Sam. I'm gonna move my chair a little bit more. Okay, and it's like stumbling samurai, maybe he's injured, and let's go. We're keeping it simple. You don't need to be crazy. You don't need to get crazy with this sort of thing. Simple and subtle is often best. And we'll clean up our motion capture too. There's always a little bit of a cleanup stage with Rokoko. We can make this look a little bit better. You can see some of these foot contacts are not super good. Cleanup is a fundamental part of using Rokoko motion capture. And although I'm using a two-handed prop, I'm not using the coil today. I tend to use the coil when I have really precision things and that I need to do, and I don't need to do anything super precise right now, so I didn't boot it up. Will we be able to download this motion capture? Not today's probably, but we do have Samurai motion capture up on our website if you want to go download some. We have a ton of samurai stuff that I've done in the past. So if you go to rokoko.com and you go to community free resources, there's like a combat pack. There might be a samurai pack, and it's got all sorts of stuff like this. Okay, let's do that again because I don't know if I loved that. But it's like stumbling through a house towards the door. Is kind of what I had in mind. Just basic stuff. So much of motion capture is like not dramatic. Okay, let's do it again. And I want to get some like hand stuff. You know, we're just doing basic samurai. Let's just do some like looking around. Let's do it one more time. Yeah, see, this is like, if we just do a little cleanup, you can see how much of a huge difference it can make. And this is a fundamental part of Rokoko. Yeah, we're gonna have to clean up these clips. Doesn't like my gate. My samurai gate is not, it's not digging it. Try it one more time. Okay, I think we got enough. We're not gonna try it. I don't even know what we're doing exactly. There we go. Look at this badass samurai. Cool. Okay, I think that's what we're gonna do. And that was it, you know? Unless there's anything else that people want to see, we can, you know, if anybody wants to see some motion capture particularly, I'll stay in the suit for a second. Otherwise, I'm gonna hop out and we're gonna jump into Unreal. Do some of these new workflow methods. Do a little calibration pose, which is a 3-second pose for Rokoko. Let's do like a samurai fighting kind of thing. We might as well. Come on. Yeah, I think the staggered mocap could be cool too. Let's do one more of those. This does look cool though. Okay, staggered samurai. Let's go. Last one. Wish I had more room in my office here. Cool, this is cool too. Just walking in from a battle. Okay. Yeah, all this needs to be fixed. It'll look so much better with a 30-second cleanup pass. You can see this is where my foot actually leaves the ground here. Yeah, this just needs a little cleanup. Oh my gosh. It's my shuffling. I shouldn't be shuffling so much. Cool. Okay, we got enough, I think. Let's get into the fun stuff. Yeah. Come on, samurai sword. Well, we'll fix that later. Okay. Yeah. Let's do it. Okay, so let's adjust this guy back down. And let's get into Unreal and get going here. I'm gonna take my gloves off. And yeah, I think we got some good stuff. I really liked, I think clip 6 was the one that I liked the most. And then what I'll do is, maybe we'll hop back in the suit later. So I'll just take off the top bit. And then we can stay ready to go. Okay. Yeah. And then, most importantly, I can get my headphones back so I can hear that sweet music. It's not just the sound of my own voice chatting into the darkness. Okay, so I think this one looked great. And we can do multiple, we can export a couple different clips. Oh no, it wasn't this one. I think it was clip 7. Yeah, this one, I think. And you can see these keyframes here correspond to foot contacts with the ground. So in order to get accurate motion capture, you need to go in and make sure the Rokoko Studio is accurately... Oh, this looks good. Yeah, this is sick. See right here, foot comes up off the ground right here. Yeah, sick. And we can correct, we're gonna try and play around with some of the modular control rig stuff. This looks awesome. Okay, I really like this. So again, we are staggering samurai. I know. Don't I know it, Alberto? Good to see ya. But yeah, I really dig this. This looks pretty darn neato. So using the new, again, we're going into Unreal 5.4, and for 5.4, we have a different workflow, and we're working on making that workflow better. 5.4 was just released recently, so we're adjusting our old workflow a little bit to make sure that it works better with the new features like automatic retargeting, which is the big new feature in Unreal Engine. What's going on, Bad Monk? Good to see you. And so for that workflow, we are actually going to be exporting a Mixamo skeleton. I know it's a little confusing. We have an Unreal Engine 4, Unreal Engine 5 skeletons in Rokoko Studio. Those are what you would use for our old workflow with Unreal, but it's not our old workflow because 5.4 is in preview. So it's not even out yet. So nobody's, people were playing around, and this is maybe the future of how the motion capture workflow is going to work in Unreal, but nobody's actually developing or really using Unreal for Unreal 5.4 for more real things because it's got bugs and it's a preview, so it's not fully baked yet. So anyway, point being, if you want to use the new Unreal 5.4 workflow, we're going to export a Mixamo skeleton and not a 4 or 5 skeleton. We do need to include a body mesh because to import into Unreal, you need to have a mesh attached to your animation. Otherwise, Unreal won't import it. It's just a quirk of Unreal. And so this looks good. Let's export this. And we are going to export it to our folder of our Dealio. And I have already started a Samurai Unreal 5.4. I loaded up, I spurged and got myself the new big, medium, small pack of Water Village, Japanese Water Village. So it's going to be perfect for Unreal. I have a Samurai that we're going to use, and which is from the Epic Marketplace. And so we should have everything we need to make a sick little Samurai scene. Oh, I'm injured. Ooh. So this is like what I'm thinking here. It's kind of like this is the shot. Backlit. He stumbles. And then maybe the camera like pans around. Yeah, something like that. I don't know, we'll see. So the Mixamo, just because the way that 5.4 imports the auto-retargeter templates aren't baked yet. We're gonna get a Rokoko template into the full release, but right now we don't import onto a UE4, UE5 mannequin anymore. You just import it in. And so if you import straight up the Unreal Engine 4 or 5 export from Rokoko Studio into Unreal Engine and you don't put it on a mannequin, it's all jacked up and it's not usable. So we want to use the Mixamo or the Human IK or the iClone exports. And it's just because of this new, the new workflow. So okay, so we got it. Let's import. I already imported a bunch of different stuff. We got our Samurai here. Look at this sick with it Samurai. Ichiro. Some cool physics. And we're gonna use the version of him with a full mask, I think. Yeah, come on. Oh, very cool. So the way that this new workflow works is it's auto retargeting. So it's supposed to be much easier than the workflow that we've used for retargeting in the past in Unreal, which is it's easy, but it's a little bit involved. And so I created a mocap folder, and now we'll go and we'll import in the motion capture that we just exported from Rokoko Studio, Stagger Samurai Mixamo, open, import mesh. We want to import animations, right? If we were doing face capture, we'd want to import morph targets, which are blend shapes. We aren't using face capture, so we don't need morph targets. Import all. And looky what we got. We've got our samurai looking pretty darn. Ooh, it looks sick. Looks cool. So straight up, if we just want to retarget this, we right click on the animation, retarget animations. We select our target mesh, which I think is Ichiro D. These guys all share a skeleton, so it doesn't actually matter. But let's retarget to the one that we want to use. So it's actually D. So we want D. So let's go to Ichiro D. There we go. It works. I wish there was better lighting in this scene. Like in the retarget scene. Cool. Okay, and now we can do a couple things. We can export the retarget assets, or we can export the animations. If we export the animations, and you can do multiple animations if you want. Here we go. We have it on our character, and it all is done, right? Now, what we can also do, though, is if we go back, do the same thing, right-click our animation, our motion capture animation, go to retarget animations, go select D, and we can also export retarget assets. So let's do that. And when we do that, what happens is Unreal has automatically generated a IK rig, including a full body IK rig for our motion capture. And it's also done it for our character. Look at this. IK. So this is really neat that it does this automatically. And it also generates a retargeter, IK retargeter. And here we could go in, and if we wanted to make some changes to our character and how it's being retargeted, we could do it here. Now we're gonna go into the control rig in sequencer and do some stuff there as well. But this looks pretty good, and again, it was just a couple clicks. So this is really cool that that we can do this now in Unreal. And let's see how fast we can get to something cool. So I'm gonna go and we're gonna use Brushify, the Moorland pack, and load in our Moorlands pack. And we're gonna kind of set up the scene in here because it's all looks cool and is kind of good to go. You can see that my grass is being culled, which I always hate. I think is really annoying because it makes it very difficult to get wide shots of the grass. So one good little command, if you want to have less culling for your grass, you just type in grass.cull distance scale, and let's make this like 100. And there we go. It's gonna fill it in, and we just have more grass, right? It's still culled. This is actually, that's way too much. We don't need 100, so if we just go up in the command console, let's make it 10. Yeah, we could probably even do less than 10. But that's fine. I think that's fine for now. Yeah, you can see it's being culled right here. So, we could, let's make it 8. It's a little bit less, which is fine. But it looks pretty, I feel like this is giving me a samurai vibe. You know, plains of Japan maybe kind of thing. We need some horses or something. But this looks pretty cool. So, and then I've got some buildings. So these are from the big, medium, small pack, which are pricey, but are the highest quality assets you can really find anywhere. They're absolutely incredible. They're really customizable. And everything looks a little bit dark. But that's okay, because we might do some lighting ourselves. You can see we can turn on and off. I might add in my own lighting system here. Because I like Ultra Dynamic Sky, which is an unbelievable plugin for lighting. So let's add Ultra Dynamic Sky to our Samurai. It has not been updated for 5.4 yet, so we just need to hit Show All Projects and then load in a 5.3 version of it, which is fine. It should still work. And now if we go to Ultra Dynamic Sky, Blueprints, we can load in. There we go. There we go. That's what I wanted. Now we're looking good. And so you can see, yeah, this is just incredible detail. Looks amazing. Look, if we select this, we can turn the people on and off, which is really cool. And let's rotate this around. And what I was kind of thinking is we would have our shot be like right here, kind of thing. So create camera here. And then what I like to do with my cameras is I go and I change the exposure to just 1 to give us a true exposure level that is a little bit more realistic. And then if I go to Ultra Dynamic Sky, what's also cool is you can always click on your camera and there's this little pin preview button here. And you can, so now no matter what I'm doing, I can see what my camera is seeing, which is really neat because I want to go and click on Ultra Dynamic Sky, and they just updated Ultra Dynamic Sky to give little info tabs for everything. Ultra Dynamic Sky is amazing, but I can manually change the sun position. Right, this is where we want it. And again, I can use my pinned camera here. And then, of course, what we also need is like, we need some fog, baby. We need fog, fog, fog. We need volumetric fog. We need to crank it. Here. This kind of thing. And then look at that. We got some God rays happening here. And I might even turn off on my camera. Let's go back to exposure. Oh, I was doing that in ultra dynamic sky, the exposure. Was I? What did I do that to? I thought it was to my exposure. Oh yeah, it was here. Yeah, sure. Let's just use. Okay, so it's pretty crazy, but it does look really cool. Sick. Looks pretty neat. Okay, so now we can get into sequencer, and we've built this very quickly, right? Samurai shot. And now at this point, we just need to load in our samurai. Let's load them into sequencer. Let's add the animation. If we double click on an animation, it'll make it the size of the timeline, which is handy. Okay, and we want him to kind of end up like right in front of the door. I hate snapping, so I'll turn off snapping. So you know what? I'm actually gonna move him. Oh, I hate snapping so much. It's just not for me. I'm not a snapper. This is cool. Okay, and now let's change our cine camera here, and let's start messing around with our focal length. Let's make it a 35. And let's just start playing around. And let's bring the focus settings way back. And the other thing that is so important in Unreal, I find, is, we are going to start adding in lights and kind of, art directing what we want to see here. Oh man, another thing I love to do is go into editor preferences and turn on arc ball. And this just allows me to freely rotate anything. I don't have to be on the axes, which again I hate. Coming from Cinema 4D, they have much better widgets for rotating things in my opinion. I'm also going to save all. We'll see if we crash. Bing bong bing. It already looks pretty cool. It already looks pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff in this project. I probably made it way too beefy, so saving is gonna take a little while, but it's good to save. Let's save. Always good to save. But we're gonna add a little bit of light, and maybe lit from the top. Oh, look at this. We're already looking pretty darn sexy here. Make this light a little bit smaller. Oh, turn off snapping. Hey. This is semi-unrealistic, obviously. Because I don't know where this light would be coming from in reality. It's good to, in theory, kind of try to mimic reality, but at the same time, like, you just want to make things that look cool. Let's make this 0.1. Okay, yeah. And then the other thing that I like to do with lights, which is just turn up my volumetric scattering intensity and just make it kind of a little bit more intense. Okay, that's having some odd effects, so maybe we won't do that. Okay, now we're getting a little bit more interesting here. Okay, and so as we're going out and we're doing this, so how about like this? We could add in our camera. We can always change all this. Add in our camera, set a keyframe, and then I'm gonna turn on auto keying. Oh no, I set it on the samurai. We need to set it on our camera. And we'll just do one of these kind of things. And so you can see, I mean, I got no light here. So, and we need a little bit of light. And what we can also do is under the focal distance. We're so blasted out. Maybe we start here. by the time it gets to here. Looking pretty cool. Yeah, a little fake. Maybe some fake light from the left. Oh, that stumble is pretty rad. Maybe like on the stumble we kind of get some defocusing. So this looks kind of neat, I think. And what we can also do is like maybe this aperture, or not the aperture, maybe this focal length is like too much. Cool. And what we can also do is always we can make our transforms smart auto, and we'll smooth out some of these little. Whoa, what is happening there? That's way too much. Oh, there's two. This happens sometimes. I've got two keyframes. Yep. Turn off snapping. And then the other thing that we need to do is we need to bake our keyframes so that we can do some adjustments here on the head and everything. Let's actually, I do like what you were saying, Alberto, about let's get another little light here. Let's make it smaller. Let's give it a little orange, sure. And then also we can simulate these physics. It's gonna look way cooler. We can add in a samurai sword into my hand over here on the right. Yeah, the details are really nice. So we can even like, maybe we do another one and we give it a little pop onto the ceiling. .05. And And this is like the fun part of Unreal, right? You're going in and you're adding little things here and there. Like even this, right? It might be nice to be able to see this door a little bit more. And I mean, what would really add a lot to this is we go in, we create an actor blueprint class, and we gotta do some camera shake, baby. Some default camera shake. That's key. That's key, baby. Camera shake. Open it up. You choose Perlin. We change the timing to 0, which means it'll be constant. And we start messing around with this. We go back to sequencer, go to our camera plus camera shake, load in our camera shake, make sure it goes for the entire timeline. And now, camera shake just makes everything so much better. Let's make rotation 1. Yeah. Cool. It's a lot. It's a lot when the camera's still, right? You know what, I think, like... Pretty cool. What's going on, Sokka? And now what we can do... Okay, let's jump out of this. As you can see, his head is like way too low. The arm is also like, we could go in and we could, so let's test the modular control rig system. As well, and see if we can build ourselves a little control rig. So the control rig system is new. This character does not come with a control rig. So what if we want to make a control rig? Well, in the old Unreal system, it was a real pain in the ass to do that. Here it's a little bit easier. We're going to right click on our mesh, create modular rig. And when we do that, we get this system. What we can do is just, we can build a control rig up from nothing. So you can see here, if we hover over this, it says Spine 01, Control Shift S. I don't want to save, but I will. It takes so long because I've loaded in way more assets than I need. I'm gonna break my sword. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. Last time I tried to force this, I like screwed up one of these things, so I'm not going to do that. Okay, save. But you can see, when we're building a modular control rig, this is entirely new. This is a completely new system in Unreal Engine, this modular control rig. And they made it really idiot-proof, which is good for me because I'm an idiot. And it works amazingly well. So I can hover over this. It says, drop in the spine module. So I drop in the spine module. Then up here, drop in the neck module. Drop in the neck. Shoulder. Shoulder. This one says arm. Arm. Shoulder. Arm. Leggy. Leggy. There we go. We have a modular, we have a control rig built now. And what we can do now is if we go into Sequencer, and we'll try. I mean, I still have not a ton of experience with this stuff, but what we can do, excuse me, is go plus control rig, change it to layered, and we don't even need to bake this. What we can do is add our control rig, and it's on a layer. And as you can see, okay, it's a little twitchy. It's interesting. And I wonder if this is... Okay, so it's just because it hasn't like caught up to it yet. And look at this. See, the head is not moving anymore. So this is not like a perfect system yet. I don't know. I've yet to kind of get the new control rig system perfect. Let's instead of doing that, we can always just go FK control rig. So I want to bake this to an FK control rig. It's going to bake from my in to out point. Nice, Sokka. And what I can do is I can't manipulate this in an IK fashion, but I can change it FK. FK is forward kinematic, IK is inverse kinematic. Inverse kinematic is generally better for motion capture editing because it allows you to not have to move as many bones. You can move, if you need to move where the wrist is, you can just move the wrist to that position and the rest of the bones will follow. FK, if I want to move my wrist over here, I got to move my upper arm, then I got to move my lower arm, then I got to move my wrist. IK, I can just move my wrist and the rest of my arm will follow along. I could do FK layered. I mean, I don't know what the difference would be. I don't know if I trust, oh God. Interesting. Well, I'm not going to try it now because I've baked it, and seemingly I can't delete a baked FK control rig, which is a little annoying. But anyway, really all I want to do is change the head position. So in order to do that, I'm going to add an additive layer to my FK rig, and then I'm going to go and find head, which I can search for. Head, and we're just gonna do this. Okay, but the final, I'm just gonna move it for the final position I want for the head, which is like this. And then the other thing I don't love is how these bones here in the hand are really going crazy. extended. So what I might do is go find these guys. We want middle and left index. So just do this. Do this. Do this. And now, yeah, even more. I'm probably really screwing up these rotations, but I don't think it really matters. Oh no, I was doing it on the wrong layer. Undo, 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 undo. You gotta make sure we do it on the additive layer. So let's go back and change these. Oh God, undo, undo, undo. Really screwed the pooch on this. Okay, here we got to go to our additive layer. We want, I'm just searching over here, middle 01. Index. Now, it's really the ring and the middle are just two. There we go. Okay, so now yeah, much better. Look at that. Look at how much better that looks. Cool. Oh, you're probably right, Alberto. This looks pretty darn cool. I'm liking it. I don't like how camera is really crazily. Oh, my auto keyframe has been on this entire time too, so that's been screwing things up. Cool, so now let's put a sword in his hand, and we're gonna do that. There probably is DB. I'm sure it's a Google search away, but in CG generalist fashion, I'm not going to fix it. I'm just gonna keep letting it bother me forever. So let's add a sword. And we're gonna plop it in our guy's hand here. God, I love arc ball. It really makes working with rotations a lot easier, in my opinion. Now, there's probably going to be all sorts of weird clipping issues with a sword this long, especially as he approaches the door. So let's see about that. But in order to parent this sword to our fellow, there's a couple ways to do that. I'm actually going to see if I can just go into selection mode, drag my sword onto my character, which is... no, I can't. So instead, I'm going to add my sword into sequencer, and I'm going to go to right click on it, assign actor. No, wait, what am I doing here? Okay, so I'm gonna click on the plus, go to attach, preserve current, which will keep it where it is right now, and then I'm binding it onto samurai staggering anim, and it's onto the right hand. So we search for hand, oops, hand R. Look at that. Look at how easy that was. Oh, this looks pretty sick. And what I'm going to do is I can move this a little bit. And what I tend to do is try to position it like in its final position, which I think... what we can even do is, we're faking this, right? So I can add a keyframe to our sword. Right here, I kind of want it to be like more pointed. Oh. Turn on auto keyer. And again, what we can do is go to our camera, pin this, right? We're faking this. This is movie magic. It does not need to actually be perfect. Because I want to be able to see this sword. I don't know if we're going to be able to. I like that. That's okay. Cool. I love being able to see this, right? Pretty sick. And it doesn't matter, right? This is the shot. The shot is from behind. Now there's clipping on the swords here, and if we wanted to fix some of that, what we could do, and I think it might be worth doing because we're going through all this effort, is let's turn off the auto keyer. Find our samurai boy. FK control rig. We want the second. We want our additive. And I'm going to go find the right upper arm, which we can always type in upper arm R. Oh no, upper arm L. Upper arm L. And right here, let's add a keyframe. Then by this point, let's just make the hand over here. Cool, that looks really good. And then add a keyframe, and then at this point we'll copy this keyframe, paste it, and it'll go back to where it should be. This is looking pretty neat. I think we could, the other thing that we could do, Shift 1 to go back to selection mode. Let's grab our camera, let's pin it so we can see what's going on. But then I want to grab this light, and I want to add a little bit of detail here so that we can actually see what's going on. Maybe that's too much detail. Ooh, maybe, oh no, maybe from above. But this looks pretty darn neat. I mean, come on, what do you want? It's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. And then we add a ton of post effects and stuff. Let's go into our Cine camera, and this is where we start to get crazy, right? We gotta start getting crazy. Post processing. A little bit of bloom. A little bit of dirt. Oh, I don't have a dirt mask. A little bit of lens flare. Too much lens flare. See this flare right here? Thanks, Sokka. Pretty good for just a quick little thing. Now you can see we got some craziness happening with the physics here. They're bumping and jumping a lot. So if I Command E, let's go into our physics. I'm going to select all of these collisions. I'm going to change the physics type. Instead of default, I'm going to change them to kinematic. Now by default, if they're left at default, and we actually simulate this, we get a ragdoll. We don't want these to ragdoll, but we do want the close physics to work. So to remove the ragdoll but keep the close, we can change all of these collision roughouts to kinematic. And now, well, let's see what happens. So we should really save. I'm not going to though. Hit play. Yeah. Hit pause. I don't know why it's not following my camera. Interesting. But when we render this, it's gonna play. So we don't want it to ragdoll. I think there's some really good little moments in here. Looks pretty cool. Now, there's a lot of empty space back here. So I think it might be interesting to go in and maybe add in another house. Or something. And remember, we can always go grab our actor, pin it. We want to see what's happening in our camera. So maybe put another house right here. And then put another one over here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. You can always loop the timeline, but with clicking this little playback loop right here, I always like to loop it so I can just watch. Yeah, these jumping, I wonder, you know, this is like Unreal. You kind of have to just render and see what you're gonna get sometimes. So those physics might go crazy. I don't know. In which case, like, this clip starts later, you know? And you know, this is only one scene, and what we can, you know, what you can always do is then we start getting crazy with like other angles. You know. Another one that's always really cool is let's create, if we click the pancake or the hamburger, create camera here, create a new camera. Let's make this camera very shallow depth of field. You know, we can get something like this going. Sometimes it looks like we're gonna have to, you would have to, sometimes on the eyes, we have this unapplied material. Yeah, but this is pretty neat. I think this looks pretty darn good for just messing around and having a little fun. Yeah, we might kind of call it there. I think that was pretty good. So I'm going to try and render this, and that's when we'll run into a million other issues, I'm sure. But you know, it's pretty cool to some of these new workflow tools. You know, we did our retargeting using the new auto-retargeter in Unreal. The modular control rig did not work. I think in general, I think anytime you have automatic tools, you end up, it can get tough because oftentimes they don't work fully. And kind of the magic of automatic tools, the promise is that it's gonna all work out perfectly for you. And like, rarely is that the case. There's so many edge cases when it comes to different types of characters or whatever, that you just, it's tough for it to be automatically perfectly working. You know, whether it's the physics going wrong, whether it's the control rig not really working, you know. So this mocap isn't free to download. However, if we go to, let's go to Rokoko.com. If you go to Rokoko.com and you go to resources, free 3D assets, we have tons of free motion capture here. So you go to martial arts, for instance, and you just have to, you know, whatever, it'll send it to you just have to put in something. You can put in your email or not. You don't have to. You put in a fake one. I mean, we prefer it, obviously, if you put in a real one because we want to let you know when we have webinars and stuff, but you don't have to. We have a free Bruno the Mime. We got a bunch of free stuff here. Fights. In the animation challenge section, I know I had some samurai motion capture in here, so there's definitely free samurai stuff in here. And then you can also go and you can, if you download Rokoko Studio, which you can do for free, and you go to Motion Library, we have a bunch of free assets on here. You go to View All and just sort by price, free. And, you know, we have like running with a weapon or taunting opponent. You know, there's like saber jump. There's free motion capture in here. That's kind of like samurai-ish. Here's a really good run. Yeah, but you can find some free motion capture here, and we'll keep making free packs and giving them out on Rokoko.com. And yeah, other than that, before I sign off, you know, as I said at the beginning, we have a free webinar coming up on April 18th, I believe. You'll be able to find out more at Rokoko.com next week or on our Instagram next week. I'll talk about it in office hours next week as well. But, you know, we're going to have raffles. We're going to be going through more detailed Unreal workflow. and we're also going to be giving out like discount codes and stuff, and it's just a great time. So come to the webinar if you want to get some free stuff potentially, or some discounts, and yeah, it's always a blast. So hey Alberto, I think we're signing off, but this was a lot of fun. Thank you all for joining. I think we made something pretty cool here. Let's watch it one more time. Physics. Pretty cool. Fun. Yeah. Cool. Okay, we're going to call it there, everyone. I'm going to go try and render this and see if it breaks my computer. And if not, we'll have a fun little thing to put up. But thanks for coming. We'll be back next week. Stay safe. Have a good weekend. And I'm going to say goodbye. Bye, all. Thanks for coming. Peace out. Go watch Shogun. Thanks, Alberto. Good to see you. Okay. Peace, everyone.